There is so much stuff in this parasha. You would have thought that it could be strung along several parshiot. Now, you might have thought that if you think of the Torah as a storybook, but it's not. The Torah is a chronicle of the molding, the creation of the Jewish people. And it's filled with experiences and episodes from which we learn how to live as Jews today. And so this parasha begins with messengers of God coming to Abraham and Sarah and telling them that in about a year, they'll give birth to a son. Now let's skip over a lot of stuff. We'll get to the very end of the parasha. And we're told that God is going to test Abraham. Now, Jewish tradition tells us that during his lifetime, Abraham was faced with 10 tests. What are the purposes of these tests? Is it to see Abraham fail? Is it to see Abraham pass? I don't look at it that way. Why do we test learners? It's because we want them to learn something through the experience. It's because when they come out at the other end of that experience, we want their character or their knowledge to be enhanced. And so God puts Abraham through these 10 experiences that will build his character and position him to be the founder of the Jewish people. This is the ultimate test, the scariest test, because the child that God promised them at the beginning of the parasha, well, now God tells Abraham that he wants him to take that child and bring him to the top of a mountain and sacrifice him to God. And Abraham does so. He sets out with zeal to perform this mitzvah, this commandment. And as he gets to the top of the mountain, he binds Isaac on top of the altar. And Abraham takes out his knife and he's about to kill his son when a voice cries out, a voice of an angel, a voice of a messenger of God, and says, Abraham, Abraham, stop, stop. And Abraham stops. Now you might think that's the test, that Abraham stopped. And I think that's part of it. But I think the real test, the real character development experience that God wanted Abraham to endure was to understand, for Abraham to understand, that although God, God's self, was the one who told him to commit this act, it wasn't God. It was a messenger of God. It was a voice of God that told Abraham to stop. And Abraham goes through this test and comes out on the other side successfully because he listened to that voice. And this is what Abraham learned from this experience. And this is, as the children of Abraham, what we learn from this experience and carry with us today. It's God saying, when you see something wrong, when you see evil or an injustice, don't wait for me, God. Don't wait for me to tell you what to do. You have my voice inside of you. You know what to do. Do it. And so, as a proud Jewish community, with a strong Jewish federation and synagogues and agencies that keep us whole and holy, we listen to that voice. We act on that voice every single day. And we'll continue to do so together with hope and optimism and entering a peaceful Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom.